You might have heard about it on the news, seen activists on the plaza, or maybe even have read about it online. But tonight on CTV Talks, we plan to get some insight about what Amendment 66 really is. This show was recorded before the election took place. Just in case you have no idea what the amendment is or what the issues surrounding it entail, we're going to give you a brief recap. Amendment 66 is a provision that will seek to change how Colorado funds public education across the state. Considering the recent recession, some feel that this amendment is necessary in order to reallocate the funds that were not available to the state public schools when the recession hit. Largely due to the increase this will mean on personal income tax, some feel the passing of this amendment is a bad choice for Colorado. Issues with education and tax increases are always a hot button topic across the board, so it's no surprise that nearly everyone is formulating a strong opinion about the issue. Here to talk to us tonight is a representative from Colorado Commits to Kids, a group that aims to vote yes on 66, former Senator Bob Bacon. Bob, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, you're welcome. Nice to be here, Jackie.
Well, can you first off tell us a little bit more about what Colorado Commits to Kids is?
Colorado Commits to Kids is an organization that is an outgrowth of Great Education Colorado. And that's a group that has been ongoing for many years in order to support public education in Colorado. And of course, one of their major thrusts is to have adequate funding for education, as well as many other programs.
Right, that makes perfect sense. And how did you get involved in Colorado Commits to Kids?
I have been in the Senate, and I have been involved in the Great Education Colorado, and certainly if this is an initiative of Great Education Colorado and the importance of Amendment 66 to me, and of course to all of education, I certainly support Colorado Commits to Kids and their efforts in order to get Amendment 66 passed.
What do you perceive are the cons that people are kind of pushing against this amendment for?
Well, most of the people are opposed to it because of the tax increase. And it is true that it raises the income tax. In Colorado, we have a flat tax of your federal at 4.63. When I was in the House many years ago, it was 5%, and it was lowered to 4.63% because we had more revenues coming in than Tabor allowed. And so this goes back to the 5% that we had back around 2000. Plus, it does create a graduated portion of it. For those incomes over taxable incomes over $75,000, they will pay a 5.9% rather than the 5% that Amendment 66 has as a part of it. Plus, this is going to go into a classroom education fund, and the fund then will be used to fund and to pay for those various aspects that Amendment 66 outlines clearly if one looks at the Blue Book.
And I heard you mention Tabor. Will you give us and some of the viewers at home who might not know, what is Tabor?
Tabor was a constitutional amendment passed back in about 1992, and this requires that if taxes are increased in Colorado, then the citizens, the voters, must vote to increase those taxes. And so Tabor is an acronym for Taxpayers' Bill of Rights. And so in Colorado, we require a vote of the people in order to increase taxes. All other states allow the legislatures to have that kind of prerogative to increase taxes in order to pay for what they deem to be necessary. But in Colorado, we must ask the voters, and we must educate the voters on the importance of increasing the taxes for that.
can you explain the passing of Amendment 66 and its effects on maybe driving students to achieve more?
It's going to have tremendous benefit, I think, particularly for the at-risk populations that we have, the special ed students that we have, and certainly all of us know, who've ever been involved in education, know that the earlier you can intervene in those children's lives that will be behind for reading and so forth, the early childhood portion of it is exceedingly important, as well as the full-day kindergarten. And so it is going to distribute funds in those areas where it is more needed than other areas. Districts like Poudre School District has had several mill levy overrides, and so we have done a better job of taxing ourselves more in this district than other areas. And even though Amendment 66 will not gain a great deal of more money for Poudre School District, it will increase it by about $600 a student. Many people who are educated in other areas of the state move to Fort Collins, and so I want an educated population in Fort Collins coming from other areas.
I think we all do.
They say that when you're facing extreme danger, your life flashes before you. If you think that's sad, consider facing it before you even have enough life to flash before your eyes. Deaths and injuries can be prevented by using the right car seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to know what is appropriate for each age and size.
Really wonderful points, and to learn more about the Colorado Commits to Kids organization, even after this election, visit coloradocommits.com. And thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Of course.
Thanks, Jackie.
Up next, get some info about what the other side has to say, and stay tuned for this week's weather updates from weather anchor Caitlin Connolly.
A full life measured in seats starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are the #1 killer of children 1 through 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Good evening, Rams. This weekend looks like it's going to be warm again. It'll be in the high 50s tomorrow and the low 60s for the rest of the weekend. The wind will still be at 9 miles per hour on Friday, but it should start to slow down going into Saturday and Sunday. Also, I know the mountains are finally being opened completely, so if you guys are headed up to Breck, it'll be in the low 40s and sunny all weekend. So it's a great time to finally start your skiing and snowboarding. Vail will be in the high 40s, so it'll be a little warmer in that area. Denver's going to have very nice weather this weekend, the temperatures being anywhere from the mid to high 60s and mostly sunny outside. There is a 10% chance of rain on Sunday, but the weather will be so nice it's almost worth it. I don't know if anyone saw pictures, but there was a partial solar eclipse this morning in North Carolina that many people have been talking about. Unfortunately, there are no beaches near us, so we never get to see this kind of view. I've also heard that Horsetooth is a great place to watch the sunset, though. I know it was cold this past October, and people are wondering if it's going to be a cold winter, but it looks like for the rest of November, the temperatures shouldn't get below a low of 20. I know that's cold for me, but it could be a lot worse. Thank you for watching CTV Talks. I'm Caitlin Conley. Back to you, Jackie.
Thank you, Caitlin. Although you may have already received an opinion on Amendment 66, you might not understand what all the issues are concerning either side. Here to discuss the opposing point of view is a representative from the Independence Institute. Welcome, Ben DeGrow.
So good to be with you, Jackie.
It is so good to have you on the show. Now, for our viewers who are just turning in, will you tell us a little bit about what Amendment 66 is?
Amendment 66 is a proposal on everybody's ballot here in Colorado this year. It's asking for an additional $1 billion in state income taxes from families and businesses, tied to a certain set of changes in the way we fund schools.
All right, and what exactly are these changes?
Well, there's a whole lot of things going on there, but particularly they want to rewrite the school funding formula so that more money will go to school districts that have higher shares of kids who are called at-risk, low-income kids from families in poverty who don't speak English at home. But what the effect of this is in various parts of the formula is that it ends up redistributing a lot of dollars from certain taxpayers into certain other areas.
And I know you said you were from the Independence Institute. What exactly is their position on all of this?
The Independence Institute, we're a free market think tank. So we're about freedom, we're about limited government, personal responsibility. And in the area of education, we're about giving parents more responsibility and more choice in education. We're about giving more accountability to the system and making sure that we have one that provides the greatest excellence and the greatest outcomes through those means rather than asking taxpayers for more dollars.
And Ben, in your opinion, what are the biggest cons to this amendment?
Well, I mean, the first thing that comes to your mind is that it's unfair. And you can look at it this way. So we have a certain particular at-risk student, and we can call her Maria. So Maria lives on one side of a school district boundary. She's going to get hundreds of dollars less than if she enrolls into another school district because of the way the formula is written. It's not just giving dollars to a school district per se, it's giving dollars to the same student differently based on which school district they attend, and we think that's not fair.
That's definitely interesting. And can you explain kind of like where did this amendment come from? How was it brought about?
For 2 years, there was a group in Denver, a whole bunch of people actually brought together a bunch of groups through something called the School Finance Partnership. And they were trying to explore ways to add more money to the education system while changing the way we fund schools. And what ended up we got in the legislature this year was Senate Bill 213, which is 142 pages, which is a lot of legislation and hard to understand. But the idea is it'll only go into effect if voters approve the $1 billion in new taxes.
They say that when you're facing extreme danger, your life flashes before you. If you think that's sad, consider facing it before you even have enough life to flash before your eyes. Deaths and injuries can be prevented by using the right car seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to know what is appropriate for each age and size.
And as a kind of a final word, a final push, what is your stance? What would you say to voters who are maybe thinking of voting yes?
Well, I would say dig a little deeper, because it always sounds nice on the surface to vote for something that sounds like it's for the kids and for education. And we all want a better education system. We want public education to work. We want to have educated students who are going to be good citizens for the future, who are going to be able to take up those jobs that are going to be demanded in the 21st century. But we have to recognize that just adding more money to a system where we're already spending about $10,000 per student in Colorado without adding enough accountability and adding rewards to make sure those dollars are being used successfully, it's not good enough. We can expect better.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, Ben, for joining us again. For more information about the Independence Institute and what it's all about, visit i2i.org. That's i2i.org.
You're rolling.
All right, Mama's gonna bring it home. Mama's gonna bring it home. No.
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
Let's see what you can do. Let's go.
Search We Can for ideas on how to get healthy together.
Well, that's all the time we have tonight on CTV Talks. Stay tuned next week to learn about a hidden gem in Fort Collins that combines great food, art, and fun. I'm Jacky Wilson, and this has been CTV Talks. Good night, Fort Collins.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are the #1 killer of children 1 through 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
You're rolling.
All right, Mama's gonna bring it home. Mama's gonna bring it home. No.
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
Let's see what you can do. Let's go.
Search We Can for ideas on how to get healthy together.
They say that when you're facing extreme danger, your life flashes before you. If you think that's sad, consider facing it before you even have enough life to flash before your eyes. Deaths and injuries can be prevented by using the right car seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to know what is appropriate for each age and size.